Good morning, how are you? Today I am in Dover to do another air raid shelter, and it's an air raid shelter that you either know or you don't. Now I know it sounds a bit stupid because actually the reason why I like this one, or the reason why we're visiting this one more importantly, is actually two reasons. One is on a personal reason. That personal reason is because I was going to explore another place that is on this site, and unfortunately I have many failed attempts at this place. Not because it's difficult to find, but more importantly that it is either, I don't really want to say too much on the thing because I've already just been there again. But I've never had much luck in entering this place. I'll just be polite about saying that. And if I do a video on that, I will mention it for another time, and then probably mention this video at the same time because it's all related. But yeah, so I've come here today to also do this, which is this air raid shelter that's situated in Dover on the White Cliffs. And more importantly, we're at the former Langdon prison. And where I'm situated actually is pretty much where most people have probably started their videos actually, I would assume, is at the warder's house, or the former warder's house of the prison. Because where the air raid shelter is, it's literally behind this. And as you probably saw me traverse up those very narrow steps, me and my size 11s, you know, you're better off actually just going up the grassy bank, to be fair. Obviously not on a slippery or frosty day on both occasions. I can imagine that being quite eventful. What you can hear in the background is the Dover port as well. So what I want to do today is we'll go explore it, but I'll also tell you some interesting history, because what makes this air raid shelter really interesting is it is the kind of air raid shelter that's situated in Dover where, strangely enough, you either know it or you don't. And I know it sounds a bit stupid, but it goes against the principle I've always said on Phoenix history, which is most people know the really big, ginormous air raid shelters that are situated in Dover, or the really famous ones. However, with this one that we're exploring today, it really is a case of if you know this air raid shelter, you know it. If you don't, you don't. And fortunately, because I'm a sad, pathetic human being, I'd felt, do you know what, let's do this one today. Let's tick it off. It's easy to find, easy to locate. I know a lot of you have probably done this one, but I also am probably quite aware that a lot of you haven't. And I'm not going to obviously show you exactly where it is, but I'm obviously going to give you information on it. So stay with me and I'll see you on the other side. Bye. Hiya, so we found it. It wasn't too difficult to find actually. The only difficulty was actually the terrain itself. So welcome to the air raid shelter. That is really interesting for its history. I'll just sort of say that. I'll tell you more about it when we're in there, but the first thing to do is to actually get in there, and it's going to be a bit of a crawl. So we're doing this an old school explore for me today. I'm also very aware that there's a lot of nature and probably the condition in there isn't going to be great, but let's give it a go anyway. Come on. Ooh, bit exciting this one. Okay, so we're in. That was, oh god, I'm getting too old for this. There you go, everybody, I've said it. Barely got in, I've already said I'm getting too old for this. Wow. So this air raid shelter dug into the chalk formerly of this was part of an old chalk quarry that sort of was behind Langdon prison, and as you can see, the amazing brickwork and the concrete slab. So already that's telling us that this is World War II, and it would have gone in further, because I don't know if you can see that, but where it's fallen in, oh wow, yeah, it would have continued on just a little bit further, only a little bit, because we are at one of the entrances. Oh man. Right. Let's go. Let's keep going, I reckon. Whew. Oh, beautiful pieces of history. There we go. So it's not the biggest air raid shelter you've ever seen in your life, but what remains, I always say, is so cool. And the fact that this one really hasn't been, you know, like I said, it's just such a strange one for Dover's history, because we don't normally associate places to still be relatively hidden even after all this time. Like I said, you know, even though a lot of people have explored this one, or a fair few from looking back, it's still exciting to know that, you know, there is a definite note for a shelter even here. So there's our little recess in the middle, and then it basically should tally out onto an exit here. Yeah, in fact, that hole's way easier to get into, but you know, you live and you learn. I feel like I've earned it if I've gone through the tricky way. It's just, the problem was that today it's so overgrown that really, you know, either entrance was just difficult to get into. So, and forgive me, I'm sweating. But yeah, look at this. So, right. It's a shame that the condition of this is being used as a bit of a tip. Now, what I wanted to talk about actually was something really interesting about this whole area. So, what you're about to see is an aerial photograph. An aerial photograph is really interesting because it shows some slick trenches, and the slick trench system came almost up to here. Now, through talking with someone, I said to them, you know, would it be possible that this one could have been part of that system? Because if you look roughly where we are on it, we're pretty much on the corner. Now, obviously, we know that looking at this, it's a dead end for each side. We can tell that. But that slit trench was dug in World War II. Now, this is noted, or has been mentioned, to have dated from at least World War I. But I don't know if you can see this. There's some little blocks of wood that obviously would have attached some cabling. In fact, you can see that little wiring there. There's another bit here, and there's some old nails. So this definitely would have been important at one point. Does this mean that that's a light? I'm just trying to work that out. I can't. Sorry, I'm looking through the camera. So that is probably an original light socket, I would assume. Let's have a look. I think we can probably trace this. Yeah, look, there you go. Tracing the cabling going across. Funny that, I thought to myself, I'd noted that we'd seen that wooden block there. Isn't that amazing? I mean, of all the air raid shelters that I've been into, this one really is just such a special piece of history because of the fact that even though it's small, it is still labelled, it is still definitely an air raid shelter. But the bigger mystery, however, was that obviously during my research, I couldn't actually find anything else on it except that it was behind the warden's house of the former prison. Now, what you've also got to take into consideration is that most of the buildings for the prison weren't around. You know, by the time it was World War II, for example, well, actually, by the time it was World War One, most of the buildings had been removed anyway. And then what they'd done was, I think that they turned the governor's office into a headquarters for the AA batteries that were around here, because obviously we know Langdon had one, but there was also some other batteries that were sort of anti-aircraft batteries, so not substantial, that were literally situated just and around here, with obviously the munitions storage units that are sort of situated a little bit further on. But it was the trench system that I just found so amazing, and to see that aerial photography that obviously you've seen now, And to sort of put that in context, that is no word of a lie. If my torch is there on this angle, it's probably like feet away, I'd say, from the edge of this slit trench system that was concertinaed. So it was obviously, in layman's terms, in out, in out, in out. Well, you probably saw that in the photograph anyway. So, but it just all adds to the World War II history of this place. And the World War history in general, actually, not just World War One, but World War II, or the other way around, sorry, I mean. But this is very distinctive of our World War II features. The concrete cap on our air raid shelter with the brick siding, we see that a lot. And then obviously we come in with quite, I mean, like I said, what they've probably tried to do at one point was obviously clearly tried to backfill this. And then they've decided, actually, do you know what, we could use this as a bit of storage or something. And that's what they've done. Anyway, yeah, brilliant, isn't it? Let's carry on talking. It's quite strange, actually. I've just been sort of doing what I've trained myself to do, which is try and enjoy this place without necessarily filming it. And I keep hearing noises, and I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. And I keep forgetting it's the noises of the Dover port that's down there. That voice is so distinctive, that woman sort of going, Dover port, blah, 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 that sort of thing. The other thing I wanted to mention was, which I don't think I really sort of said, so we've spoken about the trench system that was literally not too far away from here. But it was also rumoured, because this whole, so if you walk around Langley, if you walk at the back end of it, there's a lot of different sort of, the landscape sort of topography sort of changes quite a lot. And that's also because, which is also mentioned, that these probably could have even been original caves that it started off as. And we've seen that before when caves get converted into air raid shelters. But when I say caves, it probably more likely is to do with the quarry. The quarry system, probably when they were digging out stuff, they might have dug this out. But I really do probably, its main phase probably easily came in World War II, because we can sort of tell that. But also, it's quite possible that it was World War I as well, and that it was people sheltering from the Zeppelin. So there's a lot of back history to it. Unfortunately, like we said before, there's a lot of rubbish and litter on the floor. But yeah, it's just such a very special place, this. It's just special in my heart just to actually even visit this, just because it's just off the beaten track. It's off the beaten track type of air raid shelter. And the fact that we know that this was probably an air raid shelter, we also know that it had something to do with the quarry. And we also know that it was probably, it must have had some relation to the trench system that was there. I just want to correct myself. I said concertinas, I probably meant crenellated. I was just sort of thinking, did I mean crenellated concertina? I'm sorry about that. I mean crenellated. So the idea is that you can see it, so it goes in, out, You know what I mean. You'll know what I mean if you know what I mean. I'm not describing myself very well on that one, so I do apologise. But I love that. I love that aerial photography, looking down into it. There we go. So that's it, everybody. So I suppose the best thing to do is to leave you. Sorry, I'm going. Thank you so much for watching. Any more words of Phoenix history? Because history matters. Slightly different video today, but really glad I got to tick this one off the list. Much love to all of you out there, because history matters. And just looking one more time. Oh, look at that. Okay. I do apologise, it's not my normal quality video that all of you lovely people are used to. I don't know what you're used to anymore. But I'm going to go this way, because it's just way more easier. But I'm sure I'm going to be hitting the undergrowth. So take care, everybody. Any more words of Phoenix history? Because history matters. Love, love, love. And I will see you all very soon. Remember to spread the word of the channel. Take care, everybody. Really, kapow!